our changing earth. The lithosphere is broken into number of plates known as lithospheric plates. Changes in the earth surface, different landforms, major landforms, mountains, a volcano, then work of a river, sea waves, etc. Two types of forces we already studied. The changes on the earth's surface is due to two types of forces. Which are they? Endogenic force and exogenic force. Endogenic force means what? Endogenic force. The forces which act in the interior of the earth. The forces which act in the interior of the earth. Exogenic force means what? The forces that work on the surface of the earth. Endogenic forces causes earthquake, that is a sudden forces. Endogenic forces sometimes produce sudden movements and other times produce slow movements. Sudden movements such as earthquake, volcano and landslides. Earthquake, volcano and landslides. Then today we are going to discuss about major landforms. Work of a river. The landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. Weathering is breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface. Erosion is wearing away of the landscape by different agents. Agents such as water, wind and ice. The eroded material is carried away or transported by water, wind, etc. and eventually deposited. This process of erosion and deposition create different landforms on the surface of the earth. Work of a river. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. When the river tumbles at a steep angle over very hard rocks or down a steep valley side, it forms a waterfall. Waterfalls are often formed where a layer of harder rock overlays a layer of softer rock. Why do a river curves? A river curves change on the surface over which it flows. As the river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as meanders. Here we can see the picture. Meanders. It is a snaking pattern of water stream. As the river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as meanders. Due to continuous erosion and deposition along the sides of the meander, the ends of the meander loop come closer and closer. In due course of time, the meander loop cuts off from the river and forms cut-off lake, also called an Oxbow Lake. An Oxbow Lake is a U-shaped body of water. Here we can see the picture. That forms when a wide meander from the main stem of river is cut off, creating a free-standing body of water. This landform is so named for its distinctive curved shape, resembling the bow. That is why it is known as the Oxbow form or Oxbow Lake. Then comes floodplain. As it floods, it deposits layers of fine soil and other material are called sediments. This leads to the formation of a flat, fertile floodplain. Here we can see the picture. A floodplain is generally flat area next to river or a stream. It stretches from the banks of the river to the outer edges of the valley. Floodplains are natural flooding outlets for rivers. Levees. In times of flood, a river may overflow. The raised banks are called levees. In times of flood, a river may overflow its banks and spread over the floodplain. As it does, so it loses energy and deposits its material across the floodplain. As it takes more energy to carry large particles, these are deposited first and therefore build up along the banks of the river to form a natural embankment, which are called levees. In simple terms, the raised banks are called levees or embankment to the overflow of water.